So we just have one more page for registration, and this last one is participant goals upon entry into the program. So be careful with this page. It's very important to know that there is two sections here. One of them is participant goals upon entry into the program. The other one is participant achievements at end of program year. So I get a lot of students that go ahead and mark that they want to get a high school diploma in this section, but and then they get here that they already obtained the high school diploma. So that kind of doesn't make sense. So if the student already has the high school diploma, they don't have to put that as their goals. And also remember to advise your students to put goals that are realistic to be completed within the training time. So maybe if they are already employed, they just want to retain or get a better job or advance in their job, they will select the retain job or advance in the job option. If they are already in a job and their main goal is to enroll in college or other type of training, they can go ahead and select this last option. You cannot have somebody who in the page above right here put employed and now it's wanting to put obtain a job. That is something that cannot happen. So if the student already has a job, they either have to mark retain job or advance in a job or select other goal, but that can obtain a job cannot be their goal because they already have one. So there is 5 primary goals that you can choose from. You can mark more than one, but remember you have to keep it realistic. You have the secondary goals, and there is quite some options here. Our program is designed to improve students' skills, so one of my recommendations to them is most of the time to select improve basic skills, or when we have students who are here because they want to learn English, also they can mark make progress in English. And if they just don't want to mark any of these ones, that is okay. But remember that at the initial entry, your students cannot have participant achievements. That is something that cannot happen. This is part of progress. Will be done later. We have gotten to the assessment section. So in the last video that I had done, I show you the tape test and locator. So once you have already completed all the assessments, here is where you will input your results. I apologize, I meant to select some goals. So I selected enroll in college and improve basic skills. So getting back to the assessments, you will have, there is 2 different type of assessments. The first one is the ESL testing, which it's given a best assessment or best plus assessment. And the best plus 2.0 oral is the oral test that the students will have to have prior entering the class. And the literacy test is also the written test the students will have to complete. There is 3 different forms. Most commonly, students will begin with the form A, and as the students will progress in the class, they may be given a progress test on a different book. This section right here is only used to capture the students' scores. And this is for fast entry. That way we don't have to be looking at the tape results page. We can just have it here and go ahead and process it in the system while doing registration. In most cases, we will have tape assessments. So the assessment date will be your first thing that you will have to fill out. Then you will have to circle one of the forms, whichever one the student use. Initial entry, most of the time the students will use Form 9 as well, and for progress testing they will be using 10 or vice versa. Also, you'll have to write down here what level of the tape was used. This is depending on the locator, so this is not something you will have an option to choose. Then the number of answers correct. In the math section, notice how you have separated the computation and applied, and at the bottom you have the language. Then you're gonna have the scale score and the NRS functioning level, and here you can do the same thing as the locator, as the tape test. When you were scoring at the bottom, you can put a the number of the NRS between 1 to 6 and the short description. So once you have already done this and you have all the documents required for eligibility, you will go ahead and fill out certain things just like on the sign-in sheet. You will put the class name, and I'm just going to select CNA, and the number. In this case, I'm just gonna make up a class number, and it's gonna be 100, and then you're gonna have to add the site. Okay, so on the site, I'm just going to go ahead and put WETC. The Career Navigator. Here, this last section is for signatures. It's not just to write in the name of the person that you know that helped the student complete the paperwork, but it's actually a signature section. And these signatures tell me when I receive your paperwork that you have already verified this information. So the first one is Career Navigator. After Career Navigator has reviewed this form and eligibility for the student, they can then send it to the supervisor or the center director, and they will have to sign in the supervisor section. Once all of this is completed, then this file needs to be sent to me. I will certify eligibility for the students for either one of the grants we have, and once that's been done, somebody will enter into Teams and put the date it was entered and the name of the person who entered it. Then it will go to the coordinator so that the coordinator can do a final review to make sure that everything that we did in this process was completed correctly. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and show you one last thing. Remember on the second page we had a form that had 3 asterisk questions, and if anybody answered yes, it will trigger a follow-up questionnaire. The follow-up questionnaire is composed of 2 forms, so it is it entails 2 forms or 2 pages. These 2 pages will have more detailed questions as far as the disability status or veteran status, disabled veteran status, migrant and seasonal farm worker. So all of this information needs to be completed. If it is not applicable to the student, even when they used a yes on the second page or on one of those questions with the asterisk, they still can have as an answer no on all of these ones. Make sure you have their name and the date on these pages. It's not letting me put the name, but here is where the name goes and the date that this form was filled in. Then you're gonna have to select here the method of the interview. So this is these forms are designed to be done in an interview type of setting. It can be done in person or in an interview by phone, but you definitely have to give the student the possibility um, of doing it in a private setting. So it cannot be done in a group setting. You cannot ask these questions to a student, especially directly in a group setting. After you have completed, you, the staff that help the student fill in this form, will put your name here, then your signature on this right section, and the date when you help the student do this form. So I think that now covers our registration form, 3 pages, and when